The transgender community has come into the spotlight in North Carolina. This comes after Charlotte passed a new ordinance allowing transgender people to use the restroom of their choice depending on what they identify as their gender, rather. WNCT's Kelly Byrne surveyed ECU's campus for reaction on transgenders in our community.
That's right. Tonight's special speaker, Keisling, is talking about equality for transgenders. Now, I spoke to her and students about the perception of transgender individuals in our community.
I feel like they're actually pretty well accepted.
Acceptance. It's the dominant perception on ECU's campus when it comes to transgender students.
I had a diversity class last semester. We had the LGBT community come into our class, and they did say they feel pretty accepted and well liked here.
Over the summer, we told you about ECU club sports allowing transgender students to play on the team they identify as their gender. One step showing acceptance.
I think the majority of students accept transgender. There's obviously a few that might not look at them equally compared to everybody else, but I think the majority of people would accept transgender students.
But that's not the case from some of the state's leaders. After Charlotte passed a non-discrimination ordinance, Governor Pat McCrory started looking at ways for the state to intervene. That's because McCrory says the right to privacy needs to be protected.
And right now, I think people have a lot of misconceptions about who we are.
I sat down with Keisling, founder executive director of the National Center for Transgender Equality, to hear her thoughts on transgender perception.
I think in a lot of ways things are really getting better, but our surveys do show, in fact, that most transgender people have faced discrimination.
She says reaching equality is possible if the community comes together.
I think it's incumbent on all of us, transgender people and non-transgender people, to really be as civil to each other and as kind to each other as possible.
Tonight's event at ECU starts at 7 in the Mendenhall Student Center. Mark Rasdorf of ECU's LGBT office hopes the event will lead to more dialogue on campus regarding the transgender community. Kelly Byrne, 9 on your side.
Kelly, thank you. Discussions on transgender equality comes at a time when North Carolina's General Assembly looks to override Charlotte's new LGBT ordinance. Attorney General Roy Cooper issued a statement today saying legislators should focus on education, job creation, and taxes when they reconvene in late April, not Charlotte's new restroom ordinance. In response, Governor McCrory's office issued a statement saying, quote, Roy Cooper is failing families and children across North Carolina by supporting the ordinance to open bathrooms and locker rooms to the opposite sex.